So you guys know that Sony is going to end the production of physical discs for all PlayStation games in January 2028. And it looks like the community will not let it go. So are we still cool with Sony? Hey, just want to jump in here and say big thank you to the 10K crew. We did it. We hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, a little bit more now. So big hello to everyone and a big thank you to everyone who supported the channel. It means so much to me. And if you didn't see my short about the 10K subs, please go check that out because I thank you directly. Thank you for everyone who supported the channel, anyone who's commented, shared the videos, all that stuff. It means the world to me. I don't want to crap on about it too much, but it's a big milestone for me. So from me to you guys, thank you very much. Okay, I want to kick off by saying that I am not the biggest physical media guy. So all the stuff you see behind me and everything in the entertainment unit and stuff like that was before digital storefronts and, you know, things that people have gifted me. So, you know, I'm got to be pretty honest and say that when digital storefronts showed up, I was the first one to jump ship and start purchasing everything digitally. So I just want to say that up front. Now, having said that, I value all the stuff I've got. If you've given me something, it's likely in here in a box or something somewhere. So I value the stuff that I have received. I have an OG copy of the Half-Life collection, for example, that is very near and dear to me. So, you know, I love a lot of physical media. But I did jump, the day Steam came out, I started buying stuff on Steam. So that's the type of guy I am. I would trade games at EB Games and all that sort of stuff as well. And to be honest, because of that, I wasn't really going to talk about this, but it seems like the backlash to Sony's announcement of the death of physical media just will not quit. And I think it's still important to talk about because we're losing essentially the second-hand market for games. Also, despite the backlash, this week it looks like Sony are still pushing ahead. So what's going on? Now, Sony is saying that they're ending the production of physical discs for PlayStation games because of the emerging trends of consumers moving entirely to digital. They're saying that the wider entertainment industry is moving from physical to digital media. You know, they're talking about all the streaming platforms and all that sort of stuff. And they're saying that it's actually the preference of PlayStation consumers. And it looks like there is some merit to it. They're offering numbers like 78% of PlayStation purchases are now digital media rather than physical. They're also saying that it's not going to be that big of a deal because the physical games are going to still be supported, right? It's even gotten to the point where they're putting warning labels on the new 1 terabyte retail boxes of the PlayStation 5 with a large notice saying that, you know, physical games will no longer be sold from January 2028. So it's a real thing, guys. My brother-in-law is the biggest Sony fanboy that you could imagine. He's got games wall to wall. It's unbelievable. You should see it. I'm going to take the camera over next time I go. And it's just really disappointing that the die-hard fans are the ones who suffer for them. Because people ride and die for Sony, and it's guys like that who suffer, you know. And while Sony say that it's not going to affect their business, you think about it, you think about the releases that are coming out, which have been pretty slow by Sony standard in the PS5 generation, but you think about it, Marvel's Wolverine game's coming out, it's going to be a nice shiny physical disc, right? Well, when Marvel's Wolverine 2 comes out, right, Marvel are going to expect you to buy the box that's just going to have nothing but a digital license in it. So you're going to put it next to your shiny physical things. There are going to be things like that they have not considered. Oh, no, you can still buy the box. The collector's edition's going to be awesome. It's going to contain everything except the game. I mean, it just doesn't feel right for the players who really care about that stuff. And they're saying removing the physical discs reduces manufacturing logistical and also like retail costs. But here's where I think that's a little bit sneaky of Sony to say, right? Because what I think they're doing is they're saying, oh, look, we're lowering the manufacturing costs, right? And they want you to assume that that means there's going to be cheaper games. But there won't be. What they're actually saying is truckies are going to be out of the job. People in retail stores are going to lose their jobs. There is going to be losses everywhere, and the games are going to stay the same price. Believe me. So I think it's pretty shitty for Sony to be saying, no, guys, we're lowering the cost. And that's a good thing, right? Because that's not what they're doing. It's good for Sony, but it's not going to be good for you. Because what they're really doing is completely cutting out the secondhand market, right? It used to be you could wait for COD or FIFA, shout out to my man Mark, who would wait for, it to come out down in price, and then you could go to the EB Games or GameStop or whatever your local was, and you could buy it for a little bit cheaper. You could shop around, see what the price is at Target or whatever. But now, completely removing the secondhand market means Sony can do exactly what Nintendo do and keep that price premium, baby. So that's what they're going to do. It completely removes a secondhand market. Also completely cuts off a whole bunch of gamers who cannot go online. There are some people that don't have the internet and they buy these consoles because they can buy the physical media. All those people can suck it. It is retro gaming for you. Sorry, guys. Hey, swapping a game with your friend, that's done. You are not going to be able to digitally transfer your game so a mate can play it anymore. That is done. The days of getting up and, going to take a game over to your mate, maybe swapping for something else, taking a picture of them holding your game so they don't lose it, that's all gone. That's not going to happen anymore. Speaking of retail stores, places like EB Games, cash converters, garage sales, all that stuff's gone. No more gaming garage sales or stuff like that where you can pick up like an awesome title that you've been looking for ages. They're just not going to exist anymore. This isn't a Valve situation. You'll be completely dependent on the Sony ecosystem, right? Which, by the way, crashed last weekend and people couldn't play their games at all. And not to mention that they have suffered some of the worst hacks in history. So just putting that out there as well. One of the really annoying things about this has been the communication style as well. It's always like an X post or like the Sony PlayStation blog or whatever, and it's just a little thing like, we're finding stuff out through the earnings calls that I'll talk about in a minute, and it's just really wishy-washy. They had one of these bullshit corporate earnings calls where someone asked them why they were going to continue to do this despite the backlash, right? And Sony said, oh no, it's mostly driven by the digitalization of all media, not just Sony PlayStation games. But they didn't mention that they're removing 500 movies of the digital library from the PlayStation store, despite you buying them, right? Because the digital license has expired with Studio Canal. So those movies are going and there is no recourse to get your money back. And it's movies like Terminator 2 and stuff like that. Aussie Crunchyroll subscribers have suffered a similar fate when, their whole libraries were deleted a few years ago with absolutely no recourse to get their money back. And I mean, just you wait to see what they're going to do with their PlayStation Classics and stuff like that. Oh, you better buy it now because it's coming off the store and you won't be able to get it anymore. Sony knew that it was going to get some backlash, right? But because they didn't perceive it negatively affecting their business in the next few quarters until this happens. They just said, screw them, right? It doesn't negatively impact us. You are going to own nothing and you are going to like it. Screw anyone like me who has, bought movies on PS4 and stuff like that. It'll just be a case of, well, you enjoyed it while you had it. Bad luck, buddy. Oh, and by the way, guys, this is why I have no problems whatsoever showing you how to install a local Windows account on your own OS, or, offer you discount codes for cheap Windows licenses. All right. So for all you pussy corporate suck-ups who want to defend these massive corporations while they actively spy on you in your own OS, and then they take the things that you've purchased, look, if I could show you how to steal it for free, I would. All right. So bitch, just calm down. All right. Anyway, Sony said that they will continue to consider how to respond to players' preferences and expectations. All right, bitch over. That was fun, guys. But anyway, that's going to do it for this one, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I had a really good time making this one. I hope you guys had a good time watching it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. See you next time.